Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with an opening prayer. It's going to be given by Jessica Harris. Jessica just got home off her mission 2-3 weeks ago. Welcome back from Portland. Jessica.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for the opportunity we have to be in this class tonight and for the opportunity that we have to be students here at BYU and to educate ourselves and to learn from the Spirit and also from the books that we have available to us. We ask that as we're in this class tonight, that Thy Spirit will be with us and that we will be able to make those connections that we need to. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thanks, Jess. Okay. Kim Smith needed to be excused for tonight, so it's just me. Sorry about that, but I think we'll have a great class. Kim and I have spent quite a bit of time putting this together. There's quite a bit of slides. I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as possible. They will be on Learning Suite later on tonight. You're going to want to pay close attention because as soon as class is over, you're going to be able to have access to a database where we have a couple hundred finance mentors, and it's really first come, first serve. So there's some really incredible people on the list, and it's going to be exciting for you. There are 6 key learning outcomes that we want for you to have as a result of this class. The first is that although all of you should have been attending the Finance Society meetings and already know how to do great research on professionals and companies, I've just gone ahead and included some slides in this presentation to make sure that you really can in fact do that, because before you reach out to a mentor, you do absolutely need to do research on them and on their company, okay? This will give you an opportunity to have a one-on-one experience with a professional. Most of you, it will be over the phone. A few of you will have the opportunity to work with people in Utah, and I would encourage those that do to actually, take them to lunch, meet with them if you can. But a lot of them are in New York and all over the United States, and those will be great experiences as well. What we want you to do from your mentor, and I'll go into more detail on this. This is the overview. We're going to want you to learn what it really takes to be successful in their line of work. So what their responsibilities are, what their keys have been to their success, understanding the issues they face. We'll want you to get into asking about ethical issues they've had to deal with, etc. And then what career options are available in their specific area. And then we're going to ask you to develop a career plan. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I spent a lot of time researching this, and Kim and I are really looking forward to the presentations you'll be making on your career plans. And then we want you to refine your interviewing skills. A lot of you have met with me over the past couple of months and have come in very nervous, uncomfortable with your interviewing skills. And so you're going to have an opportunity to do a mock interview with your mentor. And then finally, we're going to go over keys on how to succeed in your internship in our last meeting. It's pass-fail. We do need you to complete all assignments. It's not the kind of thing where if you do half the assignments, you pass. This is pass if you complete all of the assignments. We want you to attend all classes. I know things do come up. The reality is you're adults, and you can make that call, but we will be asking you if you are attending. If you didn't attend, we'll want you to do a one-page write-up. So it's probably a lot easier just to attend the class and be able to ask any questions you might have in real time. We are only going to meet 4 times. So a lot of you should be going, yes, right? Okay. There is no reason to meet if you don't need to. The reason why we're only meeting 4 times is because you're also meeting 4 times with your mentor, sort of, So that's kind of the reasoning behind it. And the assignments are totally appropriate for the class, for a half-credit class. So nothing huge, But again, it's going to be assignments that we feel are really important for you to be successful. Okay, so let's talk about guidelines for your mentor relationship. You're going to be selecting a mentor in your area of interest. So, since you're all finance students, we want you to select someone who's in the area of finance. Now, you may be saying, well, that's obvious, right? But what's going to happen is you're going to be exposed to a database, a mentor database, that has alumni from all walks of life. If you find someone at a company that you absolutely want to work for, and there is no one in finance, and you can make the case to me and Kim that the only way this class makes sense for you is to go for that particular person, we will consider it, but I really feel like no one knows what eventually is going to happen in terms of what job you're going to get, all of that, and instead of putting all your eggs in one basket with one company, I would much rather you have the exposure to a finance professional. So you're going to go online, you're going to see a whole lot of things. We want you, and John's going to go through this specifically, we want you to select on someone in the finance field, okay? We want you to research your mentor and his or her company before you call them. I noticed, so we did a run through the other day, and I've been a mentor almost every semester for the last several years. And my data, I mean, it says that I've only worked for Arthur Andersen and BYU, and I've worked for UCLA, I've worked for Catholic Healthcare West. It's not complete. So I'd like you to look at their LinkedIn profile. You know, don't assume that whatever is on the mentor database is everything to know about that person, okay? And get to know their company. We're going to give you some sample emails in this slide deck that you'll have access to on Learning Suite after the class is over. Be respectful of the mentor's time. So what that means is it would be really polite of you to send them the questions in advance that you're going to ask them over a phone conversation. When it's time for you to present your career plan, send it to them in advance so they can have thought about it, and it can be a quicker conversation, okay? I know you're all busy, but they are too. So you're gonna maybe have to work your schedule a little bit around their schedule, and since you're only gonna be actually having probably 3 or 4 conversations with them, I think you'll be able to do that. What you want to do, though, is go into this with the idea that you're actually establishing a relationship with this person. If you do this right, this will be a mentor for you for years to come. So when you're selecting a mentor, don't select someone that you just think, oh, this is someone that'll, you know, oh my gosh, my neighbor's on here. I'll just do them. Because I've actually had people reach out to me that have said, oh my gosh, this woman's in my stake, I'm just going to have her. And I'm like, I'm not in rec management. This does not help you. You need to find someone else or whatever. So don't just pick someone because it's easy. Pick someone that actually can be a great mentor for you. I mean, we've got some investment bankers, we have CEOs, we have senior VPs, we've got incredible people. So for the past 6 weeks, Kim and I have sort of been looking through our Rolodex and all of that, and we've added 125 additional mentors to the list in the last few weeks. So, I mean, this is a robust database of incredible people. Okay, so your mentor does need to be selected from the database. We need you, okay, so today at 6:15 when class is over, that's when you can go on the database, and you cannot do it while you're in class today. Don't try to do that, okay? As soon as class is over though, feel free to start researching it and figuring out who you want. Business Management 321 uses the same database. Now, their global supply chain, marketing, strategy, that kind of thing, they shouldn't be picking on our mentors, but they will have access to our mentors, just like we have access to anyone else. So it is in your best interest to select a mentor. If you can tonight, you don't need to reach out to them tonight, but to select someone. Once you select a mentor, that name goes away. No one else can have that mentor, okay? Once you've selected a mentor, you can't just go, change my mind. That person is assigned to you, and you cannot undo it. If I would let you, but that's not the way the database works. If you need to have a new mentor because you reach out to that person and they say, I'm so sorry, my spouse now has cancer, or whatever reason that they are now saying they can't do it, most of them within the past few weeks have said they agreed to do this winter semester 2015. So you really shouldn't have a problem, but things come up in all of our lives, right? So if you end up with, you've reached out once, you've reached out twice, and they're not responding, or they say sorry, you need to contact John Rouse, my TA. He's got administrator rights. He will actually deselect that person, and you'll be able to select a new person. Okay. Choosing a mentor. So, I suggest that you do some research on the mentor that you choose, the individual. So, LinkedIn is probably your best bet in terms of getting good information. But Google people, they'll be on Google. It'll be interesting to see. There might be articles that are written on them that'll pop up on Google. You all have an informal network. You may want to call your, someone else that you respect and just say, hey, this person works for this company. Have you ever heard of them? What would you think of them as a mentor? So, try to make sure that you make a good selection. Facebook, I give you caution on that. That's fine. I think sometimes it's helpful to look at Facebook. You might get a sense of their family situation. That may be important to you. You maybe want someone who visibly has a family because you want to ask them about work-life balance. So it may make sense for you to look at things on Facebook, but when you talk to them on Facebook, do not be saying things like, yeah, I saw that you were just celebrating your granddaughter's first birthday the other day. They're going to feel like you're creeping on them, so don't do that, okay? But feel free to, if they have a Facebook and there's information on it, then feel free to look at it to get a sense of who they are. But don't use that information in conversation with them. Okay. The slides. Well, anyway, this is about research again. Okay, so we talked about researching them. Do not Facebook message them. And I'm going to show you an example of someone that did and what happened because of it. Consider these elements: where they worked, position in their current company, if they have an MBA, if that's an important thing for you in your future. What were their launch pad, first jobs? Do those look attractive to you? Basically, though, I think in the end, you want to find someone who's doing the thing that you are really excited about doing in your future. Corporate research. So we're just going to quickly run through this because all of you should know how to do this, okay? So for all companies, obviously going on the internet, looking at their company website, becoming familiar with that, knowing who the important people are. Publicly held companies, you obviously have a lot more information. So read the MD&A, what their business strategy is. Look at the 10Q or maybe the 10K. Know major line items, what's the size of the company, that kind of thing. So the next few slides should be, you all know how to do this. You go on Edgar. If that's one way to do it. You may have a different website that you prefer, but you're going to have access to all this information on Learning Suite. But this is just showing you how to get all of this information, how to get key financial documents, that kind of thing. Okay. So this is not a finance student that we're going to be discussing. This is a business management student. Could have possibly been a finance student because this was from a couple, 3 years ago, but it probably wasn't. So this is what not to do. And I've asked David Hinckley if he would read the letter. And he's going to speak into here because That way everyone can hear him. Okay.
All right, so as I read this, just follow along and just think about what not to do. Okay, so this is the mentor speaking. I was most recently given the opportunity to mentor Student X, that's what we're going to call him. Student was very polite and professional on the phone, and my intention is in no way to discredit him. Also, I recognize in writing this that despite all the training in the world, program administrators are still unable to control everything. And for the most part, these are still fairly young men and women doing their best. That caveat, below, this is the email message that I received via Facebook from my first interaction with Student X. Dear mentor, I have selected you as my mentor for the Marriott School Mentor Program if you are willing. Please let me know if you're willing to participate. The requirements ask that you look over my resume and answer some questions, though you could do less or more if you'd like. I would really love to get some career advice, especially concerning graduate schools. I also want to attend Harvard. Please let me know ASAP if you could participate. Hope all is well, Student X. Keep in mind this was on Facebook. And then this is the response. Okay, so first, he says, it's always nice to ask us if to be their mentor instead of telling us. So keep that in mind. Two, it says, I did graduate school at Harvard, and it is not infrequent to get emails from BYU students basically saying, you went to Harvard and I want to go to Harvard, so let's talk. While I loved my graduate studies at Harvard, it is not for everyone, and a lot of that depends on fit. Most of these students know nothing about Harvard's programs, beyond the nature of the institution. It is far more palatable to me to get most BYU alums turned Harvard grad students to get an email saying that this candidate would like to pursue an MBA, a law degree, a master's in public policy, etc., and would like to be willing to speak with us about our experience selecting the school and how we enjoyed the programs. Third, it is never professional for the student requesting help to ask the mentor to respond ASAP. I did respond the next day, however, and then did not hear back from the Student X for over a week. Okay. Fourth, it is always a bit odd to have the first contact via Facebook. I imagine our email addresses are available to students and would be great if they contacted us that way instead. All right, and then to finish up, this is his last response. So overall, he says, my impression was that Student X likely received an assignment to go into the database and select a mentor, and that he had to write a little paper about his experience. In our email communication and in our phone calls, I did not get that impression that he really cared about the mentoring he could receive, but rather was just doing it because he was obliged to. None of that may be true, but that was the impression throughout. That said, I'll repeat that he was at least quite respectful and professional. However, he failed to send a follow-up or thank you email. So yeah, guys, just keep in mind kind of what he's saying here. I realize this all sounds like I am nitpicking, and that is not my intent. I love BYU, and I will do whatever I can to help BYU students, and hope to have the opportunity to mentor others in the future when the opportunity arises. However, while Student X may have been an anomaly, it appears that additional instruction may be warranted in addition to at least better pretending genuine intent. My primary concern is not with my experience, but rather looking at this experience from a potential employer's perspective and knowing that and about recruiting process. I believe that these lessons that will greatly benefit these students as they seek an employment. Thank you all for the program and for these students. So yeah, that's an example of how not to reach out to me.
Thanks, David. So let's take a moment. What is amazing to me is the Facebook message that student sent was this long. The mentor's response was this long. What does that tell you about how the mentor felt about their experience? That's pretty bad. And really felt like he or she needed to outline every point. Why? Because as they said to him, that person loves BYU. They want you to be successful. So Kim and I are making, we kind of mentor, it's all gonna be based on what? Their experience with you. Because I have a feeling if this mentor had another experience like that, he or she would opt out in the future, right? So, anyway, that's what not to do. But you guys are awesome. So you're gonna do a great job. So, let's talk about what we're going to do. John? Let's see. Oh, right here. Okay, great.
Okay, just a couple things I wanted to point out. I've heard a lot of people have been getting internships. I just want to congratulate all of you for getting those, and those who are still trying to find one. If you need any help or advice, let me know. I'm usually in the TA lab all the time now, so just let me know. Another thing is probably you were looking at grades on December 30th and saw a big fat NS on there. Sorry about that. We got that taken care of, so now almost every single one of you should have a grade, or everyone should have a grade. If you don't have a grade, email me tomorrow, see if it's there or if it's not there. All right, now we're gonna go to the database. So one thing that Tina mentioned is that there is another class that is gonna share this database. So I would encourage all of you to go on tonight after class and try to find a mentor. So what you do, you go to marriottschool.byu.edu, and you can see where I circled right here where it says students. You want to go ahead and click on that, and then you're going to see a menu under students. I wasn't able to get a picture of it, but you go to the student tab, and then you'll find something that says,
John, okay, you guys, I need you to put your computers away, okay, for this. I have to tell you, I'm just gonna be completely transparent. You could go on right now and take some, okay? Because we went ahead and opened it up right before class. I don't want you to do it. This is an honor thing, so please, just for the rest of class right now, as soon as class is over, you can all do it. But I need you to not go on your computers for the next half hour or so, and just respect each other, okay? All right.
so you go to the student tab, and then you'll see mentor program. You click on that, and then you're gonna get a window that says the Marriott School program. You're gonna see that you need to log in, and it's just your regular BYU net ID and your password that you use all throughout campus. You go there, and then you're gonna see, you're gonna have your name, and then you're gonna have to register for a mentor, and you click on that right there. And then you're gonna see a mentor program sign up. So here we got Amy Earl. And then this part's very important right here where it says course. There's gonna be a drop down menu, and you're gonna have to sign up for Fin 321. Don't sign up for Business Management 321, because if you do, you probably won't pass this class. So just letting you know ahead of time. So, okay, here's a big thing though. So the other class uses this website for all their grading, all their assignments. You need to ignore all of that. The only reason why you're going to use this website is to pick a mentor. Learning Suite is already up and published. It's going to show all of your assignments. I also updated Learning Suite with all your slides, so this slide deck is already on Learning Suite right now. So we're going to go ahead and look to select a mentor. It's going to be right here, and it's going to say select a mentor. You go ahead and select it, and this is going to pop up. So the thing is about this database, it's very sensitive. So I went ahead and looked up a couple people already just to see how sensitive it really is. So I looked up for someone that works at Cisco, and I just I went to industries and just put like corporate finance, and I couldn't find that person. So I went ahead and typed in the company name, and I was able to find them. So there's going to be multiple ways that you can find a mentor. So just don't try to find one. If it's company specific, I go look for employer. But if you're not very sure what you want to do, you could go ahead and go to industries, and you'll go ahead and see this drop-down menu, and you'll see financial services. That's pretty much the only one that is for corporate finance. If you're going for technology, you can also put information systems. That's what a lot of the companies are doing if it's technology based. So you're gonna have to mess around a little bit with the database because, like I said, it's very sensitive. But the thing is, the additional 125 people that are selected on the database, I actually went through and found all their emails and things like that. These are people like at American Airlines, all the major banks, you got AT&T, a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So go ahead and look through this because there's a lot of great companies and a lot of great mentors that you can find. So after that, after you just go ahead and select it, you go ahead and push the search button. And you're gonna have a long list of people. And I know Tina wanted to talk a little bit about this part.
No, I already.
Oh, okay.
Just that, this is not a comprehensive list of their accomplishments. So, let's see, so if someone piques your interest and you're just like, but they, it doesn't look like they've done that much, check them out on LinkedIn before you pass on them, because it could be that there's a lot more to them. So as I said, it only listed a couple of companies that I've worked for, and I've worked for more than that, so it's really, if you want a full picture, you will need to do more and gather, data gathering.
So you could go ahead and look around, see the past employers, the degrees that they got, and where they're located. You go ahead and click on your name. In this case, we're going to click on Tina Ashby, and then you'll see the person's information, and then you can read their biography if they have one. About half of them do. And then you could go ahead where this red circle is that says select as mentor. You go ahead and do that, and then you have automatically selected that person as your mentor. So if you need to go back, you go ahead and view your mentor, and you'll be able to see all their information like we just said on the last page. So just like Tina said, once you select your mentor, you select your mentor. But if you can't get a hold of them, if you try like 3 times, you still can't get a hold of them, or if they're sick or something came up and they won't be able to meet with you, email me and we'll talk. So that's it from there. Thanks.
Great. Does anyone have any questions for John? Okay, we're gonna take a 1-minute break because I do want to ask, and thank you, John, so much for congratulating the students who got internships, because a lot of you have emailed me, and I'm excited for you as well. Did anything happen over the break for any of you that was exciting, or the last month? Anyone get engaged? Anyone get married? Okay, what happened? Congratulations. Tell us your name. Scott, congratulations. Okay, anyone else? Okay, yes.
I got married too.
You were Krista, all right. Okay, any other weddings or, yeah? I didn't fail any of my classes. All right, woo! Awesome. All right. Okay, very good. Well, that's good to hear. Okay, assignment number 2. Before you reach out to your mentor, you're gonna want to know about this assignment, because when you first reach out to them and just say, and I'll show you a sample email, and you just say, hey, just want to, see if you have a brief, we could have a brief conversation, because it's nice for you to have actually made that connection before you start asking them a ton of questions, right? But you may have someone that's really busy and then says to you, do you have an assignment you want to just get right off, done right away? You want to be ready to say, yes, actually, that would be great. So these are all the things that you need to cover, and it's on Learning Suite with your mentor. You need to know about these items, and then if you have additional questions for them, then, please ask, those additional items that you want to ask them. So this is on Learning Suite, no problem. But again, before you reach out to them that first time, know a little bit about them, okay? And that's gonna be due, the 28th, okay? You're gonna have to write however long it takes, a couple pages, whatever, to cover all this information. Okay, assignment number 3 is about developing your career plan. You're gonna be doing a pretty short online, one of those surveys where you get to know yourself. You know you all love them, even though you say you don't. You know, anyway, it'll be fun. We'll do a little interpretation of the results in class. And what I really wish is that we had done this last semester. What I really wish you had known before you started looking for work was to know more about yourself, to really know what kind of culture you're really wanting, what kind of work-life balance is really important to you, what salary is really important to you, where you want to live, all those kinds of things. We're going to cover those in this, and you're going to talk to your mentor about some of those things, and your mentor may say, you know what, you're saying you want this amount of money, but you want to live in New York, and, you know, that's great, but then your cost of living is going to be, you know, I mean, hopefully they're going to kind of push you a little bit on your assumptions and make sure that you have a reality check, okay? You'll be doing a mock interview, or you'll be doing your elevator pitch. You'll be sending them a draft. You can decide with your mentor if you want to say, hey, if I were to apply for a job at your company, what would the interview process kind of look like? I want to do a mock interview for that. Now, if you and your mentor have decided together that there's no way it makes sense for you to apply for a job at their company, then figure out what kind of company, whatever that you want to apply for, and try to make it as real as possible, okay? Then you're going to submit, we're going to ask you to do 2 3-page slide deck, nothing big, on your career plan. And then another page on the most helpful mentoring advice that you received from your mentor. And then John and David and probably Mackenzie are going to review all of those. They'll pick the top 30, and then Kim and I will pick the top 10. And each of you will get, the top 10 will get a significant prize. We haven't decided yet what it is. But anyway, a great prize. And you'll actually be presenting it to your colleagues in class. So anyway, that's something to look forward to. All of the assignments should be submitted on Learning Suite. As John said, do not pay attention to the deadlines and all of that on the mentor database. The mentor database is just to select a mentor. So 3 keys to success start today. Develop a genuine, they're all one. I like that. Start today. Develop a genuine relationship with your mentor. Okay. Do not ask me what it means to have a genuine relationship, because you all know what that means. You all know what it would feel like, just like that guy said. He felt like it was just an assignment for that student. We do not want any of your mentors to feel that way. We truly want this to be meaningful for you. Watch the deadlines. So we're saying by January 9th, which is this Friday, we want you to have selected a mentor. We want you to have connected with your mentor by the 20th. And connecting doesn't just mean one way. We don't mean just you've emailed them and haven't heard back. We mean that they've agreed to be your mentor. The last day to request a mentor change will be January 21st. So that's why you really need to get this figured out as soon as possible. Here's a sample email for the initial contact. You can read that on your own. It's really short. I mean, when I was drafting it, I kind of wanted to make it longer and Kim and I just talked about it. It's got to be short. These people are busy. I mean, tailor it. You're currently working for, and if you've got a specific connection with that company or whatever, put that in. I'm not saying to make this really dry. I don't really want it to come off as a form email, but we do want you to keep it really short, and we knew that people would be saying, well, what do I say? So here's a sample. Make sure that you put Mountain Standard Time. I do not want you guys to get messed up on that, okay? I already know of 2 students who missed phone interviews because it was with someone on the West Coast and they got mixed up on times, okay? You don't want to do that, so don't do this with your mentor either, okay? And then this is, okay, I'm not anticipating the worst, but if you don't connect, if they don't respond from your first email after about, say, 5 days, then I would go ahead and shoot them a follow-up email. And then recruiting tips just for the rest of the semester. So info sessions are starting next week. We purposely do not allow recruiters to come on campus to have any info sessions or anything the first week of school, because we know a lot of you are just trying to get your books and switch up classes and all of that. But next week, info sessions are starting up. It's for any of you who, still need an internship. It's gonna give you lots of opportunities. Finance Society emails are gonna start flowing in. And actually, as you know, we didn't have Finance Society last night, but we will be starting next week. And I will give you a heads up on this. So the Finance Society is going to shift its interest or its purpose a little bit for the second semester more toward our freshmen and sophomores. I think we call it Freshman or Sophomore Academy. And what they'll do is kind of go over the same things they went over with you last semester, interviewing skills, that kind of thing. For a lot of you, it might be a good refresher if you don't have an internship yet. We want you to stay somewhat involved, though, if you can now be that voice of reason. Luke did a superb job of always going to those meetings and always being able to be picked on and saying, wait, what was your experience on that? What was your experience on that? We'd really like to have more of you if you can spare the time. And if you do that, you will much more likely be asked to be in leadership. And leadership is chosen by the current leaders and by myself and others that are advisors. So if you will stay connected with the Finance Society this next semester and want a leadership role, which looks fantastic on your resume, and it actually is a great way to serve, then I hope you'll stay connected. And we'll still continue to have lots of emails on opportunities. And then we will continue to do the Friday forecast. So you're going to get an email tomorrow from the Business Career Center on what's coming up for the month of January. But as you all know, that changes all the time. And so John will continue to send out the Friday forecast of what's coming up the next week as updates. Okay, any questions? All right, well, I'm excited to work with you all again. You know where my office is. Feel free to come visit me or Kim if you have any questions. Have a great semester.